So something that's been really important to me over the years has been being able to understand Arabic. I learnt to read the Quran, but to understand it with meaning was really important for me. And I think that was part of my journey towards the Islamic arts as well, because I started learning Arabic. And when you start understanding the nuances of a word and the deeper meaning, for example, I remember one word and it really changed how I thought about things, was the word qalb, and qalb means heart in Arabic. But the root word actually means ever changing, constantly turning. It's never still, it's never static. And it really made me realize that that's what we are like as humans as well. We're constantly evolving, we're constantly changing, but our hearts are doing that as well. It's not just, the word isn't just heart. There's so much more depth to it. And I feel that's what I bring to my artwork as well. It's that depth, that nuances that it brings on that journey as well. And for me, it's been really important to be able to bridge not just the artwork that I'm presenting, but bridge it along with the Arabic and the meanings and the nuances behind the words of Allah. And I think that's what I'm hoping to achieve from it. My name is Sophia Abbas. I live in London and I work in finance. However, I also do Islamic art, which I've been doing for several years. I've always been interested in Islamic art through my travels and obviously seeing it around us as being Muslims. And in the last few years, I got the opportunity to try Islamic art and got to do a taster day, and I fell in love with it. I was very passionate about it and I wanted to learn more. And over the years, I've been practicing, and I was doing it with painting and other types of medium. And then I thought I would explore it with embroidery, as I've always enjoyed doing embroidery. And I found that it just worked, both things for me. And I've sort of become more, I would say, prone to doing it towards embroidery and Kufic calligraphy. For me, when I started learning, I found that I liked the structure, the linear, the rhythm to it as well. That it was everything. Well, it had a set piece around it. And for me, I love looking at calligraphy as well. And when I started exploring Kufic calligraphy, I just loved the timelessness of it. I loved the history behind it as well. And it just looks very majestic to me. So for me, I was just drawn to it. I think that's the biggest thing. I was just drawn so much towards it. And it fits in more with my own interests. Alhamdulillah, Islamic art is all around me, in terms of when you go to many gatherings, to the masjid. It's in our homes, as growing up as well. And in my travels, I've traveled to many countries where Islamic art is around us. And I think I get inspired by many things. You've got the manuscripts, you go to museums and you see very, pieces that are just amazing, and just being able to just try and get some inspiration from them is very positive. For me, I draw inspiration from Quranic ayats and words, and I think that's where my actual baseline starts from. So if I'm inspired by a certain word and the meaning behind it and the spiritual side of it, for me then it allows me to start building upon that then. And then I look at how I can incorporate that into a calligraphy piece, and then there's layers to it and as I build upon that. So I think my main ideas come from the Quran itself. I start my pieces by drafting a design first. So I use paper and ruler and compass to get the design on paper. And once I've got my design that I'm happy with, then I will actually transfer that onto the fabric. And I can use different types of fabric, from cotton, linen, silk, depending on what I want to present it with. And then the next stage is using threads and other embellishments like beads and sequins. And threads, there's so much variety that you can have out there, like cotton, silk, metallic threads. And then that's where I start the piece then in terms of embroidering it. I start off with sketches, an idea that I've got in my mind. I try and put it on paper, and then I can see how I can build that into Fatimid Kofik and the style that I want to go with. And the opportunity with Fatimid Kofik and Square Kofik, which are my main two areas that I at the moment utilise, is that I can, even though they're quite rigid with their structure and their rules, and it has to be balanced with the spaces being used, I'm able to add embellishments to it, and I'm able to add nuances to the piece as well. And that allows me to be able to be very creative. And then that, because I've got the vision that I want this to go onto a fabric and it has to be embroidered, I have that in my mind as well while I'm working on it. And so there's many elements to it that I go through before I actually decide this is the final piece that I'm happy with. So when I start a piece, I've got a blank fabric, a blank canvas in front of me, and then each stitch takes time. And what it allows me to do is realise that I will not see the actual pattern form for a long time, because it's a very slow process. And each stitch, because I know what words or word I'm stitching, it allows me in effect to do zikr at the same time. It allows me to reflect and ponder on the meanings that I'm actually stitching. And for me, it is a very slow, meditative process, and something that I really have to be present for. And each stitch is just as important as the bit piece in itself. In terms of the colour palette, I really look at the colours that we have in the Islamic world, like the blues and the deep reds and gold. And for me, I resonate with them. For me, the blues and the turquoises are, it's nature, it's the sky and the sea and the water. And I love the deep reds that we have, and I like working with them a lot. And I think that for me is a sense of a richness that it brings to a piece. And with gold, obviously, it's Quranic words, and it just brings light, illumination to the piece. So I tend to be drawn more to those colours. With regards, as I mentioned, Fatimid Kufik and Kufik generally is very linear, it's very precise and it's very majestic. And when I bring it into embroidery, it comes with a level of texture, depending on the fabric and the threads I use. And that's what I love about it, the tactileness of it, the 3D element it brings. And with that, if there's any error, it's on my part. And if there's any precision that isn't there, it is to do with the warmth that embroidery brings. And I think that's what I love about it as well, that it's bringing Kufik calligraphy, which is always found on buildings, architecture, it's found in ceramics. I brought it more into a warm and softer area. And I just like that transition I've been able to make, where it's been always very rigid into a more softer approach. Embroidery is a very slow process, and it's one of those things that takes time. So a piece that I start may take months to finish, and it is one stitch at a time. And if you look at how intricate it is a very slow process. Alhamdulillah, for me it is a form of zikr, because as I said, each piece is the word of Allah. So for me, I'm building something that is going to create the final words that I put on the canvas. And so depending on how big the piece is, we can look at maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months. So it's an opportunity for me to really spend quality time with that piece and to give it my full attention. Mistakes happen, we're human, and it's natural for a mistake to happen. So I can have mistakes at many stages of my piece. So for example, even when I've started drafting a new design, the idea I have in my head may not transfer onto paper in the way I want it to, because balance, it looking perfect because it should be, I'm expressing the words of Allah. So for me, it does take time to be able to achieve that. And I think, it is about being patient and realizing that maybe a piece can't be made. So this idea I have may not happen. When I transfer onto paper, onto the fabric itself, the threads may not work very well. I may not be having a good day to do this work as well. And I think it's recognizing my limitations, and I think it's also recognizing we are human and only Allah is perfect. And I think that is a reminder in itself for me as well. And it allows me to then sometimes say, I'll leave this piece for now. And sometimes you go back to it afterwards and you're in the right place for it and you may work on it. And other times you just have to accept it's not meant to be. But mistakes do happen, and I'm sure even the pieces that I've done are not perfect. And I think that's the thing with embroidery as well. It is a very a tactile, it is very textured piece, and it's not going to have that same perfection that you would expect, but it's still giving a very good perception of what it's meant to be. And for me, I think that is the best I can achieve. So when I start a piece, I start it on paper and then being able to transfer it to fabric. Fabric has its own mind, it's different textures that you can get, so it's really important that I use the right type of fabric for the piece that I want to create. You can have fabric that can be quite rigid like paper, but then you can have looser fabrics as well. And then on top of that, you're adding threads and other embellishments like sequins and beads. And you know, with the pieces that I'm creating, it has to be very, very defined. And when you're working with such tools that I'm using and such resources, there is that element of there being not as much accuracy. And I think that's probably my biggest challenge, that I find that I have to find ways to make sure that I preserve the piece as it should be onto another medium, and making sure that I work till I get to that point that I can feel that no, it's been able to pick up the precision that I needed. And that's exploration, that's practice, and that's just doing lots of samples and trying to work out. So there's a lot of background stuff going on before I actually work on that final piece to make sure that what I've envisioned can actually be portrayed onto that fabric. So Hand and Lock, they've been one of the oldest ateliers in London. So I've been very fortunate that I've been able to access them. And I've actually learnt a lot through Hand and Lock, and I'm actually at the moment doing their diploma in contemporary embroidery, which is something that I wish to bring to my work. The materials are amazing that they have there. They have the resources and the knowledge. And you know, being in London is such a blessing to have such a place to go to, and to be inspired by other embroidery artists as well. And it just allows you to be able to be in the right place, you know, being able to explore things there. Also, you know, being able to go to the museums. You know, we've got the V&A in London, which has so much, you know, miniature art. It's got, you know, the manuscripts there. And, you know, we've got the British Museum as well, which I go regularly as well too. And I think you just draw inspiration, not just from the Islamic art there, but from other art there as well, and the history that you have. You know, we've got such amazing places to visit that it just gives you the opportunity to reflect and be inspired, and, you know, make connections. I think that's really important about, you know, embroidery has allowed me to bring Islamic art to a different medium, and to connect with people that may not have had much knowledge about Islam or Muslims generally. And it's really been, you know, an opportunity to be able to share that with them and share about Islam as well, you know, about what Islam has. It's so rich in a culture that gets forgotten sometimes, especially in mainstream media. So alhamdulillah, it's given me a really good opportunity to be able to explore such places and to share it with like-minded people, and share my knowledge and my understanding of what not just Islam is, but also Islamic art, and how we have such a rich heritage that, you know, needs to be shared with many people. So living in London, I'm always questioned about my religion. You know, in conversation it comes up, and, you know, it's different sharing things and telling them about it. But when you're able to show something that is beautiful, that is something that might be a shared interest, for example, with other embroidery artists, you're able to say, you know, I'm doing this piece right now, and then they're sharing their work. And then what happens is, in that conversation, because they are trying to see what you've done, they're like, this doesn't look like something I've seen before. It is an opportunity to be able to share what that piece is and what it means, and the fact that it is actually calligraphy, and it is a rich heritage of Islamic art. And it's also being able to talk about the history, about Islam generally as well. And I think that makes it so much more of deeper for me, that I'm able to, and most people are fascinated, they want to understand it more, and they're like, what does this word mean? What where was this, But, because especially living in London, the mainstream media, we've got so much going on around the world that Islam doesn't always get the recognition it deserves, and there's so much beauty in our religion as well. And I think that's what I want to convey to others as well, that there's beauty. And, I think what I love about the calligraphy is that there's rules and regulations, and there's things that you have to follow to make it balanced and make it nuanced, but there's so much depth and creativity to it as well. So, and that's what life is, our journey is that as well. We have to follow certain things, but at the same time, you're free to explore and take it where you want to take it. And, it's a reflection of that. And I've met people from all walks of life, in London. Where, when I went to Hand and Lock the other day, I met, American lady there, and it was really interesting just talking to her about it as well. So you get to share things with people that are from different cultures, different religions as well, and they are able to understand and take away something from it. And just that one thing they take away, I feel I've achieved something with that as well. So for me, that's really important. When I've exhibited my work at various venues, I find it interesting that when someone comes up to look at my work, because of the fact it's quite abstract and it's not like the current calligraphy that we see, which is very cursive and easy to read, I think it draws people and they want to understand what does it say. So you end up having a dialogue with them about what it says, the meaning behind it and the essence of it, and it allows for that discussion to happen. And I think what's really interesting as well is when someone's looking at my work, they'll be looking at it and they can see like, okay, this is the word, but then I can see that moment when they suddenly go, oh, actually, let me look at this in a bit more detail. And then they can see the intricate patterns within the calligraphy itself as well. And it draws them in more, and it allows for that conversation to be built upon as well, and that discussion to be had. And I think what it does, I think it reflects on our Arabic as well, in the sense that Arabic, the meaning itself of the word has so much more to it. There's history in it, there's linguistics in it, and there's so much spirituality in it as well with regards to the meaning. And I think it allows the viewer to actually understand and reflect on the nuances that the piece evokes as well. So for me, the words are very crucial. For me, Arabic has so much meaning, so much depth, and as a Muslim, I understand the deeper meaning of the Quran, and it's a journey I'm on myself. I'm still learning, and being a non-Arab and Arabic being a language that I've been learning myself, I've just been amazed and passionate about the depth, I would say, that Arabic has. So you can take one word and you can have a whole discussion for an hour, if not more, about just that one word and the essence of it. And for me, that is what I want to portray in my artwork as well, about the depth of Arabic, the depth of the meaning behind it, what is being conveyed. It is the word of Allah, and being able to share that with Muslims and non-Muslims alike is very powerful and very much part of my reason for wanting to be able to portray this art form.